if you ask an AI to do math today, it calculates the answer. But a new paper suggests the AI of tomorrow won't calculate the math at all. Instead, it'll, hallucinate a highly realistic video of a computer doing the math for you. Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're looking at something that is going to completely flip the script on how you think about the device sitting on your desk or, tucked in your pocket.
Yeah, I mean, the fundamental architecture of computing just hasn't genuinely changed in decades. You have a processor to do the logic, a hard drive to hold your memory, and a screen to show you the results. It's rigid, it's modular, and deeply physical. But the research we're pulling from today outlines a radically different path.
Exactly. And we're working off a groundbreaking preprint research paper published just a few days ago on April 9, 2026. It comes from researchers at Meta AI and Cost, and it's simply titled Neural Computers. Our mission today is to figure out what happens when AI models stop merely using computers as tools and actually start becoming the computer itself. Okay, let's unpack this. The paper outlines the ultimate goal of building a completely neural computer, or CNC. What does the system actually have to do to earn that title?
Right, so the researchers define a complete neural computer using 4 foundational pillars. Like if a neural network is going to completely replace your laptop's operating system and hardware, it has to hit these specific marks. First, it must be Turing complete.
Which in practical terms just means given enough time and memory, the neural network can execute any mathematical or logical sequence you throw at it, right? No matter how complex.
Exactly. Spot on. Second, it has to be universally programmable. You need to be able to give it novel, unseen instructions like a brand new app, essentially, and it has to execute them without needing to be retrained from scratch.
Okay, that makes sense. And third, it must be behavior consistent unless explicitly reprogrammed. So if I open a spreadsheet application today and run a macro, it needs to behave the exact same way tomorrow. I can't have my operating system deciding to get creative and fundamentally changing how a calculator works just because of some random variation in the AI's generation.
Yeah, and that consistency is traditionally the hardest thing for AI to achieve, but it's really the 4th pillar that defines the entire paradigm shift. A CNC must unify computation, memory, and input-output, or I/O, within a single learned latent runtime state.
Unifying compute, memory, and I/O into one state. That's a concept that requires a mental leap. Let me try an analogy to visualize this for you, the listener, because the traditional idea of physical computer parts just no longer applies here. Think of a traditional computer like a commercial kitchen.
Oh, I like this.
Right. So the fridge is your memory, the stove is your compute, and the serving window is your I/O. They are completely separate physical modules. If a neural computer is just one learned runtime state, is it essentially a magical soup where the ingredients, the cooking, and the serving are all just one swirling liquid?
That's a really great way to picture it, actually.
Oh wait, how is this different from the AI agents we already have? The ones that just click around on screens for us.
What's fascinating here is how perfectly that maps to the taxonomy the Meta AI and Cost researchers lay out in the paper. They break down the evolution of computing into distinct phases. Phase 1 is the traditional layered stack,
where hardware runs an operating system, the OS runs an application, and the application executes explicit code.
Exactly. Then phase 2 gave us AI agents. An agent is like a robot you hired to sit at your desk and click the mouse for you. It's acting over an external execution environment. The agent isn't the computer, it's just pushing the buttons.
Right. And then we have current world models. These are the AI models trained to simulate physical environments, like predicting how a car drives down a street or how a character moves in a video game. They learn the dynamics of an environment, but they aren't executing software programs.
Which brings us to the final phase, neural computers. A neural computer folds all of that, the operating system, the running applications, the memory buffers, the interface, rendering directly into the neural network's weights and activations. The executable state doesn't live on a silicon chip acting as a CPU. The model itself, in its latent space, is the running computer.
Wait, if the model is the computer, I'm really struggling to picture how you actually build that prototype today. I mean, you can't just take a neural network algorithm and solder it onto a motherboard to replace Windows or Mac OS.
Right.
What is the actual physical starting point for prototyping this lucid dream computer?
Well, the researchers argue that right now the most capable substrate for this is a high-capacity video generation model.
Wait, really? A video model?
Yeah, they utilize the OpenWeight WAN 2.1 video architecture and built 2 distinct prototypes. The first is called NCCLI Gen, which simulates command line interfaces, the raw text-heavy terminals developers use. The second is NC-GUI World, which simulates graphical user interfaces, like your standard point-and-click desktop.
A video model, like the AI that generates fake drone footage or cinematic clips from a text prompt.
Yeah.
How does predicting the next frame of a video replace a CPU cycle?
They achieve this through what the paper calls the update and render loop. So think about a normal computer. If you press the letter A on your keyboard, an electrical signal hits the CPU checks the RAM, and then tells the graphics card to change the pixels on your screen.
Right, very linear.
Exactly. But in the neural computer prototype, the video model's current frame and its internal memory are represented by time-indexed video latents, which are mathematically referred to as ZEET.
So ZEET is the active dream state.
Yes. When you type a text prompt or execute a keyboard action, you're injecting an instruction into ZEET. The video model passes that latent state through its transformer blocks. The self-attention mechanism of the AI effectively becomes the CPU, processing the logic.
Wow.
The model's context window acts as the RAM, remembering what was on the screen a second ago. And the final decoding step, turning that latent state back into visible pixels, replaces the graphics card. This single continuous matrix operation absorbs all the roles of a traditional operating system's background cues and UI toolkits.
That is just wild. But creating a graphical user interface prototype must be infinitely harder than a command line interface, right? A command line is a flat 2D grid of discrete text tokens. A GUI has overlapping transparent windows, continuous mouse coordinates, dragging animations in this massive state space. Simulating the physics of a desktop requires the latent space to track object occlusion, like knowing what is hidden behind a window when you move it.
Oh, absolutely. And that is exactly why their most successful and deeply tested prototype in this paper is NCACLI Gen, the command line model. To teach this video model to behave like a stable working terminal, they had to construct a very specific training data set. They couldn't just feed it random screenshots of code.
So what do they use?
They gathered 1,100 hours of public Acinema terminal sessions. Acinema is a tool developers use to record their raw terminal workflows.
Okay. So they needed those 1,100 hours of human data so the model could learn the messy stochasticity of real workflows. Humans hesitate, we make typos, we hit the backspace key, we resize windows erratically. The model have to learn how to render those natural human interactions. But human data isn't mathematically perfect, right?
No, not at all.
If you want to teach a model the unforgiving deterministic physics of a computer terminal, human chaos just isn't enough.
To solve that, they generated 250,000 perfectly scripted VHS runs.
VHS runs, like the old tapes.
No. VHS is an automation tool that executes Dockerized deterministic terminal commands. So when a robotic script types the command ILS to list a directory, the output is structurally perfect every single time. It's the combination of human chaos from Acinema and robotic precision from the VHS scripts that stabilizes the latent space.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, the model learns how the interface feels from the humans and how the interface logically operates from the robots.
The results they got from combining that data are visually stunning. I want to describe a specific example from the paper's data samples because it grounds this massive abstraction perfectly for the listener. Imagine a user interacting with this hallucinated terminal. They type the command II3 acute cat.
Yeah, that's a great example.
In response, this neural computer seamlessly renders a loading bar, filling up with hash symbols across the screen. It renders sequential parsing messages for image 1, image 2, and image 3. And then, directly inside the command line interface, it renders 3 pixelated images of cats, complete with numbered download links and a system prompt asking if you want to save them to a specific root directory. It looks, feels, and visually operates exactly like a real computer processing a complex image generation request.
It really does. But, if the model is rendering a video of a computer, we have to examine how well it handles the precise nature of text on a screen. A terminal is an unforgiving grid. If an AI image generator slightly blurs a tree in the background of a landscape, you barely notice.
Right.
But if an AI terminal blurs a single character in a file path, the visual illusion is broken and the simulated system effectively crashes.
Which brings up the visual plateaus. The researchers measured the global perceptual metrics, things like PSNR and SSIM, which evaluate how closely a generated image matches a ground truth image. They found that on the clean robotic data, the model plateaued very early, around 25,000 training steps. It learned the overarching visual structure, the scrolling physics, and the text wrapping almost immediately.
But the devil is in the subpixel details. They ran an experiment specifically isolating font size. In a traditional computer OS, changing your terminal font size from 13 pixels down to 6 pixels is a trivial vector math calculation for the graphics card.
Right.
But for a neural computer, it exposes the mechanical limits of the neural network's receptive field. Here's where it gets really interesting. At a 13-pixel font size, the model's reconstructions are pristine. It scores over 40 decibels on the PSNR metric, rendering perfectly legible code.
But the moment they shrank that font down to 6 pixels, the text became noticeably blurry and garbled. The neural network's convolutions simply didn't have enough pixels to hold the geometric structure of the characters. The latent state destabilized because the physical footprint of the text was just too small to anchor the video generation.
Exactly. So sensible font choices are actually crucial for stable neural computer training.
Which leads to a really interesting question. If shrinking the font destroys the visual output, how does the model figure out what exact text to draw in the first place?
It turns out it's completely reliant on the text scaffolding we provided. This was explored in what they call Experiment 3, testing how prompt specificity impacts the model's rendering accuracy.
So if you give the model a vague semantic prompt like a terminal session generates 3 cat images, it produces a modest visual fidelity score. It kind of gets the gist of the screen.
Right, it knows what a terminal looks like generally.
But when they used a detailed literal caption averaging 76 words that explicitly specified the exact text strings, the formatting, and the terminal colors, the rendering accuracy skyrocketed by nearly 5 decibels.
Yeah, those detailed literal captions act as an architectural blueprint. You're effectively handing the model a sketch to trace over. By anchoring the latent state with the exact text strings, the model stops trying to guess the semantic meaning of the screen and instead focuses all its parameters on structural rendering.
That makes total sense.
It gets so proficient with the scaffolding that its character-level OCR accuracy, its ability to draw an exact text match, character for character, hit 54%.
Getting an AI image generator to hit 54% exact match accuracy on dense blocks of code is an immense technical feat. Unlike a picture of a dog where global style is all that matters, a computer terminal is entirely about precise text placement. But this leads us to the ultimate stress test of the entire paper. It's one thing for the model to perfectly draw the text of a terminal sequence because you gave it a detailed blueprint. It's another thing entirely to ask, does it actually compute?
Yeah, this is the big one. The researchers needed to know if this unified latent state was just a visual parlor trick or if it possessed native reasoning capabilities. So they designed an arithmetic probe using Python syntax. They prompted the neural computer with simple list comprehensions, for example, n times n for n in range 1 to 10. Any basic Python environment will immediately compute the squares and output the array, 1, 4, 9, 16, and so on, up to 81.
Simple enough. So they fed this basic math problem into the base 1 2.1 video model, and the accuracy score was exactly 0%. It completely failed to render the correct numbers.
So auto failure.
Then they fed it into their highly specialized NC CLI Gen terminal model, the one trained on 1,100 hours of developer data. The score was a dismal 4% accuracy. It draws a beautiful, visually perfect terminal, but the mathematical output on the screen is hallucinated nonsense.
I should note, they tested OpenAI's Sora 2 video model on this arithmetic probe as well, and it was a massive outlier, hitting 71% accuracy. The meta-researchers hypothesized that Sora 2 benefits from extensive reinforcement learning and massive scale that their OpenRates prototype simply doesn't possess yet. But sticking to the NC CLI Gen prototype, a 4% accuracy rate seems like a total failure of the neural computer concept.
Right. So what does this all mean? If it can't do simple math, the dream of a neural computer is dead on arrival, right? It's just a digital artist painting a picture of a monitor.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, the researchers anticipated this exact limitation and introduced a vital twist: reprompting. They took the exact same Python math problems, but this time they hid the correct mathematical answers within the system-level conditioning prompt.
They gave it the cheat sheet.
They essentially whispered the calculated answer to the latent state before asking the model to render the video frames.
And the accuracy rocketed from 4% to 83%. Wait, so the AI is basically the ultimate counterfeiter. It doesn't know how to do the math at all. It just knows how to perfectly draw a video of a computer that knows how to do the math.
That's a great way to put it.
That means the user interface problem, rendering the unified OS in a latent state, is largely solved. But the core logic and reasoning problem is entirely faked.
This raises an important question for the future of the field. This paper definitively proves that current high-capacity video models are incredibly powerful, highly steerable environmental renderers. They can convincingly simulate the physical experience of operating an OS. But they are not native reasoners.
Right.
To build a true, completely neural computer, researchers will have to figure out how to bridge the gap between probabilistically rendering pixels and executing deterministic symbolic logic.
Which brings us back to you, the listener, and the concept of capability reuse. Right now, this might seem like a highly experimental way to simulate a desktop environment, but the roadmap is clear. If I download a new Python script today to sort my audio files, my traditional OS doesn't need to be rebuilt, it just runs the code. For a neural computer to achieve that universal programmability we talked about at the start, it has to be able to execute novel programs it has never seen before, reliably, every single time.
And right now, probabilistic models drift. They lack symbolic stability. If you ask it to run the same script twice, it might hallucinate two entirely different visual outcomes.
Exactly. But the researchers at Meta AI and Cost are trying to solve that exact symbolic stability. If they manage to integrate native logical reasoning into the latent space over the next few years, the fundamental relationship you have with your laptop or phone changes forever. You won't be opening separate apps that execute rigid code. You'll be interacting with a single, fluid neural entity that adapts its entire operating system state to your immediate needs.
The operating system itself will morph to accommodate the task. But this leaves us with a final, slightly provocative thought to consider. In our current computing paradigm, when the rigid layers of logic fail, we experience a bug. The system hard crashes. You get a frozen screen or the dreaded blue screen of death caused by a missing semicolon in millions of lines of code.
We've all been there.
Right. But if the computer of the future is purely a probabilistic, hallucinated neural state, what does a computer crash actually look like? If the memory, the processor, and the interface are all unified in one fluid matrix, a failure won't be a blue screen.
What happens then?
Does the operating system just start daydreaming? Does your desktop slowly morph into something surreal and unrecognizable because the latent vector drifted off course?
A daydreaming computer. An operating system that loses its train of thought and starts rendering abstract art instead of your spreadsheet. That is equal parts fascinating and completely terrifying. The next time you open your laptop and see your perfectly organized desktop, just remember someday very soon, those icons might just be the active dream state of a neural network rendering itself for your convenience. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive. Keep questioning the reality of the screens in front of you.